Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, respected Pakistani listeners, and everyone listening across the world, especially the Western world. We all Pakistanis have a sort of feeling that we are having a narrative, like every nation has a narrative. Specifically, we are having an ideology, a peaceful ideology. This brainstorming is going on through every Pakistani's mind that what we are proud of it. But the world hasn't understood us. So today I was just as usually going through the columns of one of the newspaper. So I saw a column. It was written about the National Security Advisor, Mueed Yusuf. Its title says that Pakistan needs to unapologetically tell its narrative to the world. So it is quite interesting. As the National Security Advisor, Mueed Yusuf, on Thursday said that Pakistan needed to unapologetically share its narrative with the world. Speaking at a seminar in Islamabad on national narratives, Yusuf outlined three words that encapsulated his approach to narrative: proactive, unapologetic, and pragmatic. So, virtually every time we communicate, these three principles can get us anywhere we want to go. But there is no reason for Pakistan to be shy because we have nothing to hide. I just read it and thought to share it with the world, with the international community, with the Committee of Nation. It was uh, like the things which are like storming in our minds to express ourselves and to be treated as the best humans should be treated. So that is why I just thought that maybe everyone may not read it, and maybe everyone may not be informed about the seminar which was conducted at Islamabad by the National Security Advisor Mueed Yusuf. So, virtually every time we communicate, these three principles can get us anywhere we want to go. There are some principles for our communication to express our narrative to the world. So, there is no reason for Pakistan to be shy because we have nothing to hide. This just moved me, and I wanted to read the whole column to inform at least some of the Westerners and the listeners as well. So the fact of matter is that we have absorbed Western narratives of Pakistan to the point that even internally there is a debate on whether Pakistan's narrative is the correct one. That is what he said. So Yusuf said this was mind-boggling for him since, according to him, Pakistan had a real story to tell based on what the country was doing and stood for. There is absolutely no reason to be apologetic about it being added by him. So the NSA, the National Security Advisor, outlined his experience when he came into government and elaborated on what he had found to be different, saying that for the first time he realized that Pakistan is a real positive story to tell the world. So we actually have a story that is compelling, logical, and true. which we must put out to the world for them to understand who we are and what we stand for. So, outlining the problems he had identified, Yusuf said the most important one, which bothered me the most and continues to, was a supposed element in Pakistan's culture of communication. So, more internationally than domestically, of being shy in presenting our view unapologetically. He questioned that when Pakistan had a story to tell and knew how to tell it, then why wasn't this conversation being done? For more unapologetically, not emotively. To clarify that Pakistan is going to do XYZ because it's in our strategic interests. Explaining the other problems, Yusuf said Pakistan was lagging behind other countries in rapid strategic communication, using modern platforms and mediums such as social media. So we were living in the world, and to some extent, maybe even today, of public relations, press releases, and responding to things at our own time. The world has moved on. Another problem, according to him, was speaking our language to others and expecting them to understand what we are saying. So you said that the same narratives and talking points couldn't be used in front of every audience on every occasion. Apart from just the content, he added that it also mattered who was delivering the message and how they were delivering it. The NSA also questioned why Pakistanis weren't being heard more and why more people were not presenting their point of view through writing or public appearances. So, how many Pakistanis who understand Pakistan are in think tanks in key capitals? He said people with an understanding of the country's internal context were needed instead of an outsider's perspective. One national narrative, the NSA also elaborated on his perspective of a national narrative, saying that he didn't believe in striving towards a singular narrative. And I think there are multiple narratives that have to come together to create a whole, which is what Pakistan stands for as a country and as a nation. Narratives always have to reflect reality. He said there was a difference between how Pakistan and other countries, India in particular, approach narrative building. Our model is to project our rightful reality to the world. Their model is to create a whole global network of fake news to malign others. Referring to the Europe Disinfo Lab report, this report has uncovered a vast network of coordinated fake local media outlets in 65 countries, serving Indian interests as well as multiple dubious think tanks and NGOs. When you show planes flying over the UK as planes belonging to Pakistan flying in Panjshir, then you will be debunked and humiliated for that. There's a picture which was claimed to be PAF jet shot down in Panjshir, which was actually from the US. We'll just click it. We'll go through the link just to see what is that. Fact check. So this is, we can see like this is in the US, and it is not in Panjshir, right? That is what being shared as a link over here, right? So policy prerequisites for creating narratives. The NSA said certain prerequisites were needed for creating narratives. One of them was having a whole of government coordinated approach. You can't have narratives in which you are inherently contradictory about what you are telling the world, he explained, adding that better coordination would mean better results. So he also said that national narratives which didn't have public support could not be achieved. He said national dialogue was required on the following key areas: character as an Islamic country, unity in diversity, human welfare for everyone, Pakistan's democratic and federal nature, Pakistan stands for peace within and in its neighborhood. So, a charter of economy, national security, and identity. These three national dialogues are necessary. For what? To bring this public buy in to our national narratives. He reiterated that Pakistan needed to convince itself of its story, that the world has to hear this story, or these stories included sacrifices made by Pakistan, losses won which were not of the country's making, and Pakistan's unique utility to the world as a nuclear power, geoeconomic location and trade and transit hub. We just need to make sure we are convinced of our own strengths. Yusuf said that over time, every critique would be defeated because there is not a single thing that Pakistan should not be conveying to the world. Nothing that we should be apologetic about or hold back on. This was quite interesting. I hope you may also enjoy, and like this news about the seminar which was conducted by the National Security Advisor. Thank you very much. Hope you all are safe and sound. May you live long. Pakistan Zindabad.